Hello, Geeks and Ghouls. Remember how I was telling you that I enjoy Doctor Who, the reboot of the reboot by Russell T Davies, when the first two episodes of David Tennant came out, the Star Beast and the other one that was great. Yeah, I'm 6 episodes in and I'm fine. I don't feel nostalgic about it anymore. Yeah, I was basically planning to do a video about the Christmas special, the charts of whatever. But you know what? I could take my fill of goblins and silliness, and I was like, okay, that's the first episode of the series. That's the first adventure of the new Doctor. So yeah, it's gonna be silly. That's Russell T Davies. We know that. And to be honest, I was very excited for Undercut Goa. Yes, I suck at names. I was so excited for his portrayal of the Doctor, the Freddie Mercury like hip and very gay Doctor, that I went and finally watched Sex Education on Netflix, which yeah, he was really a breakout hit of that show. Too for Ruby, I did not like Ruby. It feels to me like she is a bit of Rose and a bit of Clara Oswald, only without the super bait. And when I say Clara Oswald, I mean the mysterious girl Clara Oswald, and I'm seeing how she is getting tied to the entire arc of beings that are mythological and fairy tales coming to life because of what happened in the Tennant episodes. That's something I want to see. It's definitely much better than the way Russell T Davies was approaching the season themes in his first run, and I think it's even simpler than once the stuff that Stephen Moffat did. Actually, it's a bit like between the Russell T Davies era and also the fifth season of Doctor Who, the Amy Scrag episodes, and it seems interesting, but the Star Babies, or the Space Babies, or whatever those babies were, they broke me. Because I can take silliness, but that episode was love and monsters level silly despite the budget and despite the production values. And there were space babies and a lot of silliness and a lot of camp and not too much tension. There was a boogeyman in the spaceship, but it was not quite that threatening. And stuff were going on, of course. I mean, there was even this blink and you miss it, but very ham-fisted but pro-lifers, which is peak Russell Davies, because we need some ham-fisted politics in Doctor Who to be Doctor Who. That's a staple. But yeah, the babies broke me. And as I was watching and the plot was unfolding and stuff were going directions, about in the final 10 minutes, there is an abrupt switch that feels genius. And it really hit me very hard. And I was like, yes, that's Russell T Davies. That's when he gets it. Unfortunately, a lot of the episode was silly, and the way everything resolved is also silly, very childish, in a way that, I mean, Doctor Who was, in the Russell T Davies era, was aimed at the entire family and also children, but was a bit too much for children, with the exception of that part towards the end that is quite a twist and really nails the theme very hard. It hits it on the head like a hammer hits a nail, because there's no subtlety in Russell Davies' Doctor Who. It actually felt quite interesting, but it was an arduous task getting there. I was like, fuck it, I'll stop the episode now and watch it at another point in time. Maybe when the Moffat episode comes out and I want to watch it. But yeah, it was weak. It was a weak episode with a couple good moments that simply come from a good direction and actually a writer who knows how to write. No offense to Chris Chibnall, but he sucked. Russell Davies knows how to write a good script, but it's not always great. And I think the Devil's Chord is I won't say that it's very typical Russell T Davies doing creeds or slop, because he did both. throughout his Doctor Who run. And I don't hate the guy. The guy made me a Doctor Who fan because of his reboot. He's got his style of writing and he's got his approach to the material that is not always to my liking. The Devil's Chord, I think that was a genius concept. I think it was one of the ideas that came to Russell T Davies while he was not doing Doctor Who, and maybe kept it somewhere around, or maybe there were contractual reasons why he could do that, but it will be known as the Beatles episode. Basically, the Doctor and not Rose, Ruby, they go to 1963 to see how the Beatles record their very first album. And 1963 is not a random year, it's the year Doctor Who started, and there is a great moment when the Doctor is in London on a rooftop and says, I was living there with my granddaughter, and Ruby is shocked by how old this guy is, and there is this whole my planet died and genocide and all this stuff that was very emotional. But when they get to London, to the Abbey Road studios, or the EMI studios actually, they realize that all music sucks. And this happened because one of the children of the toymaker, the maestro, has come to Earth and stole music from the people, the secret chord from a genius in 1920s. So music it dies, basically. Musicians are making slop without any emotion, without love for music, and this will lead to the destruction of the world, because without music and without the ways for people to express their emotions, the world will go to hell. And actually there are some very bleak moments about this, and it is a very well thought out concept, and conceptually it's probably one of the best Russell Davies episodes out there, and will definitely be a classic in the Doctor Who canon, I guess, the New Who canon. I really like the maestro. The actor was non-binary, so their performance was very good. They really stole the show, and I can get behind the idea of conceptual supernatural beings coming to life and spreading all sorts of havoc. That sounds like a great concept, and it's out of the ordinary. It's actually doing something different with Doctor Who. Instead of science fiction most of the week, or try to get a fantasy element and make it sci-fi, no, it's fantasy now. And it's a very Pratchettian sort of fantasy, which I do enjoy. And I also like the budget. I think the budget is really good. The special effects, they don't feel cheap at all. However, they do feel very cartoonish, which I believe is not a failure. I think it's a choice. It's an artistic choice that I did like. There is a lot of great effects, and the way music was visualized in this episode, and the way the Doctor and the Maestro play a cat and mouse game, it was very good. I think that conceptually this episode was solid, performance-wise was solid. I think that the Beatles were very underutilized, and I don't know what sort of shenanigans there were with copyrights and how to use Beatles songs in this episode, or the likeness with the estate. I don't know. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, and actually I was curious about the chord played at the end, and it says that yes, they changed the chord in the episode compared to what the Beatles actually played. It was like, was it because of copyright? That was what Reddit was trying to figure out. And if Reddit is trying to figure it out, there is smoke there. Yeah, I felt that the episode was good, but the way it progresses, it resolves. I was not super enthused, to be honest. I thought the pace was kind of off towards the second half, and the climax was not great. I don't know, maybe I'm turning into a grumpy old man, because I'm old. But yeah, I was not super enthused by this episode, but I can understand that the quality was there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to figure out how to do it. Odds anymore, and I'm dying to say it's not the odds anymore, like it was 20 years ago, because it was. because Doctor Reboot it was almost 20 years ago. So yeah, I was not like super enthused, but I was not disappointed either, or maybe I was disappointed by this episode, by the Devil's Chord, because it was a great opportunity to get some to make something like the Buffy musical episode, and they did not. So yeah, I would like to see a Doctor Who twist on the musical gimmick, but was not there. So yeah, that was a bit of a miss, but not a big one. I think that the concept was excellent. It was mostly about how it was executed. I mean, it won't be an empty child or a blink, but it won't be an episode they've forgotten. It's like Russell T Davies trying to do a visit to the doctor. I know some people like it better. Maybe it was not my cup of tea, but I guess a lot of tea drinkers did enjoy it. I'd love to hear your opinions about the two episodes that kickstarted the new series. They were not awesome, but I think they deliver on the promise that it's Doctor Who. They feel like Doctor Who with that twist that makes it a bit fresh. But it's still the same show. It's still Monster of the Week and Magic Man with creepily young companion save the day from fantasy monsters instead of sci-fi monsters. What can I say? Yeah, I hope the next episodes will be great. Hopefully. Thank you for watching and stay spooky.